Herron.
We're meeting with a former law enforcement agent of the area. He saw Audrey the night she disappeared.
To the day that I die, firmly believe that was a Russian mob deal.
Police telling me today that while they don't have any new updates, the case remains open and is still active.
It's day 2 in our search for Audrey Herron, who went missing August 29th of 2002. We're outside of Freehold, New York, off of Route 67, where she lived just up the road within 2 miles of here. We're getting ready to search this pond behind us that we got permission last night. But if you haven't seen day 1's episode, please go and check that out now so you can get caught up on all the events.
For families who have all but given up on finding their loved ones, this team is a last hope. Civilian divers cracking cold cases for free.
We're on our first pond for the day. We found this one towards the end of the day last night, and we got permission from the landowner up here to search it today. They're at work. So we came back and decided to start our search here today for Audrey. Audrey was a nurse who worked at the Columbia Green Medical Facility in Catskill. She had just finished up getting off work at around 11 p.m. when she headed home here in Freehold, New York, right outside of. It's about a 12 to 15 minute drive. The night she left work, apparently it was really foggy and rainy, and she had about a 12 to 15 mile route that she takes to get home. This is one of the ponds that we have located along that route that's within 20 feet of the road. So we're making sure to do our due diligence and scan this pond to make sure there's no possibility of a vehicle being in here. The homeowner yesterday, when talking to him, said that local divers have searched this multiple times, but as you know, until we search a pond or a waterway, it hasn't been searched to our standards. That's the only way we can guarantee that it has been searched. So we're gonna start here, search this pond. It's not looking very deep, so I'm pretty sure it's clear, and we're almost done scanning the entire thing. And then we're gonna continue on. We've got a couple points of interest that we're gonna search today along the Catskill Creek and a couple lakes and ponds that are outside of Freehold, New York. So far in searching this pond, it's looking like the majority of it's about 2 feet deep. So towards the back here, I'm gonna go scan it one more time to make sure we haven't missed anything. It's looking like the deepest part of this pond's only about 4 feet deep. So there's no possibility of a vehicle being in here without somebody seeing it. But we had to scan it. Process of elimination, that's how we do these. Yesterday's search, we focused on her potential routes that she would have taken home. We've got some tips from some locals as to where she was last seen, possible co-workers seeing her turn off on some not so consistent of where she would normally turn to come home. So we took all those routes, basically eliminated all the possibilities and waterways along the way. Today we're gonna focus more on that 5 mile radius around where she lived, or where she could potentially have accidentally ended up, or maybe, as much as I hate to say it, sometimes these are self-harm cases. But today we're basically gonna focus on accident scenarios. It was a foggy, dark night. She might have got lost. She might have swerved to miss a deer, fall asleep at the wheel. Accident scenarios. We're also gonna meet up with a former local law enforcement agent who has some information that might be useful to us. After we get done searching this pond, we're gonna go meet with him, see what information he has that might change any plans that we have for our search today. And we're gonna go see if we can bring some answers to the family of Audrey Herron.
Well, was it like he said, 4.5 feet deep, max?
4 feet at the very back. This is 2 feet. He was right. You could walk all the way across it. You wouldn't want to because you'd get wet.
Right.
We're heading up here to the, what is it called? Sunny Hill Country Club. It's a golf course, and we're meeting with a former law enforcement agent of the area that's got some information. Apparently he saw Audrey the night she disappeared along one of these routes, and we're gonna have him tell us that story and see if that gives us any new information that might help us shed some new light on maybe where we should search today, some different waterways, things of that nature. So we'll go see what he has to say, see what we find out. Is he gonna meet us here, you think, Jared?
Yeah, he's sending them up there.
Okay.
Guys, how are you?
Good, how about you?
Good, how are you?
Pleasure to meet you, I'm Jared.
Nice to meet you. I'm one of the owners here.
Oh, nice.
And I know we also had Thunderheart too.
How we doing? I'm
Pleasure to meet you.
nice to meet you.
What can we help you with?
So we're just following up on like the last known locations, anything that might put us, right where she was, and it sounds like might be the very last person that, even heard her.
But
So with the last known location, 32nd and Caniff, we
Right,
had the
32,
two, 32, yeah. So we had the two previous coworkers that said, yeah, she was behind me. I turned off at Canner School.
Cotter School, yeah.
She
Cotter School, yep.
she continued up, 23B. The other coworker behind her said she turned on a road that she normally would not turn on. Now, so if you last saw her at Caniff, that's still a road that she would normally take.
Correct.
Was there another vehicle that was right behind her that could have been her coworker?
there was no one behind her.
And so if she's coming up 32,
Yep.
she makes
It was almost like she was stopped. Like, do I go or don't I go?
right,
And like, I mean,
and then she
motivated.
made a right on Caniff.
Yep. It's like wasn't sure if they were going to make the turn or not.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, because like I said, I mean, I was flying.
Right.
So she was heading north on
She was
32,
coming north on 32.
and then she was turning right onto Caniff.
She eventually
Okay.
took the right onto
Okay.
Canada.
Yeah.
But
When you
But
saw
she
her.
hesitated
Yeah,
due
she
to weather, fog,
hesitated.
whatever else. Yeah. So now we're only mile and a half, 2 miles from her house max, and we only have
Correct.
two routes to go.
Yep.
So now that we took so now we're on Caniff. In my mind, she only has two possible routes that are going to be the shortest routes back up to her house. You got
Doman.
Doman.
You have Doman.
and then the Plainskill, or
Nope.
What's the name of
You
it?
actually have three. You have Platkill Road, which
Platkill,
is your
yeah.
first left.
Right.
Then you have Doman Road, which takes her further away from her house.
Yeah.
And then you have 41.
But it's not going to be ponds behind other people's properties. It's going to be an easy access, easy boat ramp, easy off the side of a road. It's not going to be a difficult location.
Right. I mean, or even off of 67, going down toward Athens. What are those two ponds on the left side? Both
Have
sides.
Mowers Lake.
Right.
Mowers Lake. Then you have
Yeah, this
the
just-
Catskill Reservoir.
There's water everywhere.
Right.
That's the problem. There's so much water.
Yeah.
Right.
With access
Hello.
points.
Yeah.
There's one pond where there is no guardrail.
All right. So I'm at the so I'm on 67.
Okay, you're on 67.
Yep.
Cool. What part of Northern California?
Right here. Right there.
This one here.
Yep.
Okay.
Last month?
And currently there's no, or there was no.
There never been guardrails there.
Okay.
To the day that I die, I firmly believe that was a Russian mob deal.
We've heard a few people say that. That's
I'm
interesting.
telling you,
And
because
that's
I
another
mean,
thing, because
those
they
guys-
leased to the Russians
and
over
then
there.
they threw them out of there.
Quite a few
So
years.
they pissed them right off. And I mean, what's the best way a mob
Okay.
gets to you? Eh?
Family.
All of a sudden, this thing. I
And
mean,
not to mention,
Yeah.
Audrey's mom worked for the state police, New
Right.
York State Police. So I mean, if there's any kind of connection,
Oh, right.
they would be pushing
Yeah.
to find her.
Right.
I want to say she was secretary to the superintendent.
Right.
So, I mean, when she turned up missing, I mean, they had everybody and their brother down there.
Yeah. All right, well, I think 67, and let's
Yeah.
go hit that down there on the turnpike and
Yep.
check that out. We'll continue to clear those bodies of water that have the potential for just off the side of the road in the fog. So, wish us luck today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Best of luck.
Thanks, you guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
pleasure meeting you.
We
Guys,
can-
take it easy. Have a good
Okay.
day.
Thank
We're
you.
here if you need us at all.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
So, yeah, let's just run 67 down and around.
And it is weird that he said when he saw Audrey, when back there said he saw Audrey, that she was hesitant and didn't know.
Well, it's like fog, dark foggy night.
Right.
Think about, like...
But why was he not? Why was he just going normal? But when he said it was weird that she was all hesitant.
Well, you
I know
think-
it's foggy, but it was for him too.
Yeah, but I mean, figure everybody drives different in
Yeah.
like a heavy rain or fog. I mean, think about when your windshield wipers are,
Yeah, that's
On
true.
a heavy
Every
rain.
vehicle's different.
Yeah.
Maybe her windshield wipers hadn't been changed in a couple years. And you know how they get.
Yeah.
It's just odd. Right now we're heading back down to 67, and we're gonna run that heading east all the way to, I can't remember the name of the highway that runs north out of Catskill.
Yeah, 87.
87. And we're just basically gonna look for any sort of potential waterway on either side of the road that, let's say she was almost home, forgot something at work, and decided to take that route since she was already on 67 back because the windy roads and it was foggy, she didn't want to take those again. So this is just a what if scenario. Again, accident. So we're gonna scope that out and clear that area, see what we can find. Apparently she was seen that night at around 11:25, 11:30ish, which would line up with what time she got off work and would be heading home. And so we now know that she was turning off of 32 onto Caniff Road. And so now we can narrow down our search and say it's not going to be behind there unless she turned around and went back. So now we're going to check the 67 route, which would be a different route back to her work, but it would be a straighter, easier road in my opinion.
Yes, if she's already gone north, she's already hit 67, and she needs to go back to work. 100%, 67, because, as I'm looking at it, we have multiple bodies of water off the side of the road, and some that Rich was saying, there was no guardrail then, and there is no guardrail now. So we're going to check those on this Schoharie Turnpike, particularly this one right here. We don't know if this has ever been checked or not, but there's other ones that do have guardrails along the way, north and south on this one here. We've got another one here on both sides, the Athens Reservoir that's come up a few times. We need to then also consider, is this something that we need to look at any of the boat ramps at some of these locations as well, just to knock them out. And then rather than jumping on 87 to take it back down, there's one more right before we get to 87. This is Hollister Lake. But instead, I would say let's take Green Lake Road down instead of the highway, because there's also another Green Lake to check out as well. Yeah, it takes us right down into Catskill. Back onto 23B Main Street on in. Anyway, it's a good, decent loop if she had to go back to work that way. And really, when you break it up from 23B versus the 67 to do that loop, you're not putting in any extra time or distance, really, when you're looking at it here. It's really a fairly even right back in.
I think I looked at it earlier, it was one was 20 minutes, one was 27 minutes, so it is pretty similar. During the foggy night, instead of taking a windy road, you might decide to take the straighter route.
Let's also say witness statements were for a different night for some reason. Let's say they're off by a day. Let's say that
Sure.
she that night ended up taking Green Lake up to the north to 67 and straight across. Always a possibility as well.
That's right.
Because we've been in situations where witness testimony is not always right.
Right.
Anyway, I'm feeling good about where we're heading today and the game plan. And that was some really good information from Rich, for sure. right, so 67, the turnpike that we've not yet been on. So far we passed 2 smaller bodies of water. One was really shallow, one was way up on a berm. As far as where we're coming up to down here, Nick, probably, oh, we're not that far from it at all. So we're going to be passing a road on the right. About a quarter mile down the road past that is where the no guardrail is going to be at.
Okay.
And there's nothing that I can see on the map prior to that. Oh, this is shallow.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and pull off though. I mean, let's just confirm and verify. Yeah, you got
Oh yeah,
weeds and grass all through there, so
Yep.
nothing big there.
Okay. There's a little marshy area on this side, but again, it's probably the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't even put a boat in. All right, let's go hit the next one.
Marshy.
All right, so slow this down. You're gonna see a whole bunch of lily pads here.
Yep.
So lily pads both
super
sides.
shallow.
Holy moly, look at all those lily
It
pads.
is basically a marsh. I'm gonna pull over.
Despite the guardrails, you know, one, this is a really low guardrail.
Right.
You also have this, but what rules this out is,
The depth.
yep, the depth of it and all of the lily pads. So we're staying on the Schoharie Turnpike, which is 67. We've got 2 reservoirs up here, an Athens Reservoir on the right.
This is
then
Petite Reservoir.
Yeah, Petite Reservoir on the left. So we'll stop this one, identify if there's any way to get off, if it's deep enough, and if it is, then we're gonna search it.
Yeah, it's probably shallow. And it's got a guardrail, but it's
Fishing by permit only. Public Works. We got a bunch of lily pads again up on this one. Like you can see.
Is it worth even getting out? Probably not.
As soon as we cross over the lake, there's also some ball fields as well as a boat ramp. So let's pull into there and check this lake and the boat ramp as well.
Okay.
Not just off the road, but the boat ramp. And then right
So put in at the boat ramp and then we can swoop around to where it's next to the road?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's this lake you're talking about, right?
Yep. Yeah, right here.
And
Oh, really shallow
yeah, the
through here
whole
too.
thing.
But let's check the boat ramp.
I'll pull in. Does this go to the boat now?
Yeah, next right after this.
Dawn Drive, which is a dead end right here. No boating, fishing.
No. Okay, no. Border Village of Athens. Yeah, it's just public, or not public, but public waterworks. All right, so let's head down and take Green Lake Road. 2 roads down on the right.
There's some deer. When I see a lot of deer, we've seen a lot of deer. There's a little buck in the last today and yesterday, and quite frankly, all the places in New York that we've been. That's what it always goes back into my mind is, did somebody happen to swerve to miss a deer, and that's how they ended up off the road?
Yeah.
Not just getting lost or disoriented, but, oh no, there's a deer. You know, that sort of instant reaction in your head.
It happens.
Yep. Marsh.
Wow. Yeah. Definitely no car out there. Yeah, it shows that there's water right up next to the road here.
I know. Look at the. Oh, you know, and 20 years ago when they made the maps, there could have been.
Yep. Well, we just keep running the roads, ruling them out. Oh, look, we might have something up here.
Yeah, we're coming up on a town too, Athens town.
All right, so while it's shallow there.
Oh yeah, shallow.
Yeah, it's still shallow there.
Shallow everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you, the more we drive these roads and look at these waterways, and based on what we've cleared and what we haven't, my mind is starting to go to the Russian mafia too.
I could actually agree with that right now. All right, so we're coming back up to Main Street, which is going to be 23B.
Yep.
So let's make a right, and then there's your Catskill Road. So let's make a right and then head back up to whatever our next road on the right is going to be. Oh, we also have that. Where's that bridge at that you wanted to check?
60. I need to look at a map.
Okay. So based upon where we're at right now, let's have you make a right on right here, which is where the church is going to be at. So make a right at the church, and then we'll make a right on Sandy Plains, and then we'll take this Indian Ridge Road, we'll take this Rudolph Road, and this road here, so we can go boom, boom, boom.
Zigzag?
Yep. So slow it up right here. Both of these. You're not getting up on the left one there.
That one.
And the trees are laying
Yeah.
down. You can actually see it right there. So, no dice on that one. All right, so now we're on the north side again, up by the turnpike. We have one more on the left that's coming up. But it's gonna be too far off the road, in my opinion, up and shallow, it looks like. Anyway, where I'm going with my next thought process is to the north. It's up there quite a ways, but Alcove Reservoir has come into question. You heard that one?
Yep.
Let's make a left and take that into, so this is gonna be 67 up here again.
Yep. Take that all the way to
All the way
Freehold.
to Freehold.
Then go right
And
on
then
32.
right on 32, yeah. And then you have the one pond on the left out of Freehold.
Yep.
And then really nothing until we get up to the reservoir.
Reservoirs. So I'm looking at this scenario up here, Jared, and I'm thinking, I know this is far reach, but at this point we're running out of options, so we're looking at every possible scenario. I'm looking at this pond that we're coming up on and the turnoff that she would have normally taken if she would have come all the way into Freehold. And let's say it was so foggy and dark that night and she was sleepy that she missed the turnoff. And then about the time here, oh shoot, I missed my turn, I need to turn around. Is there a spot here that she might have tried to turn around and not seen the pond and potentially made it in?
We're gonna see it right here. So that's the question here. There is no pond there. It's dry. Oh no, there's a pond
there's
there.
a pond. You got a guardrail and a huge cliff.
Oh, this pond's
Trees,
too far away.
and it's too far away.
Yeah, you're not hitting that one.
No.
Too much foliage, too far off the road.
Okay, so now our next stop will be Alcove Lake.
Yeah, but along the way, you're gonna be crossing over some other bodies of water. So stay on 32, we're gonna go through Greenville.
Okay.
And then we'll just simply run into them. I'll tell you where to turn. Bear Swamp Road. Have you heard that name come up yet? In some of the notes that we've had?
It does sound familiar, yes. I think it was on that last email you sent.
Yeah, so I'm gonna direct you over there before we go to Alcove.
Okay.
There'll be a
Is
road.
that Alcove down here?
No, we're like quite a ways from it.
I feel like this is where we're going to be turning. Is this a boat ramp area in here? Or?
We had a causeway very similar to this, where we found Carrie Mae Parker. Now we don't know what the depth of this is, but it looks like it kind of drops off. I'm not quite sure. Out there a little bit. There is a we cannot rule this out until we rule it out with a boat. You have one or two boat ramps over there.
I'm going to pull over up here pretty soon.
Into this spot.
Yep. We were hoping to check both sides of Basic Creek Reservoir here. We're right now looking at the north side of the reservoir. However, we just saw a sign over here that's saying there's no boats allowed, and they've got very strict rules on this reservoir. Carson flew the drone and has confirmed that along this side of the causeway here, it is clear. Too shallow, you can see the bottom. There's no possibility of a vehicle being in there. Now we're gonna get back on the road, drive over to the other side and check the south side of the causeway. We believe there's a possibility there's a boat ramp over there and we can maybe get a boat in if the rules are different. So we're gonna go check that out right now and see what we can find and continue on with our search. We just made it over to the south side of the lake here and confirmed it's the same rules on this side as the other side. They don't allow boats in there. I don't know what that's all about, but it doesn't matter. There is guardrails on both sides of the causeway, so it's highly unlikely that a vehicle would make it over that without somebody knowing it. But we can't confirm how deep it is, so it does leave a question mark as to what's going on there. But I personally don't think that there's a vehicle in there. I think it's probably about the same depth on both sides. So now we're gonna head back towards the main road and continue north to Alcove Reservoir.
Yeah, they must not boat on these reservoirs. There are no boating access points.
Could be the same as that last one where for some reason they just don't allow boats in it. I don't know what that's all about. That's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just too shallow.
Yeah, or drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually another reason. We ran into that
Environmental
up in Colorado. There were certain reservoirs that were 100% off limit, same way. No boating, no bathing, no swimming, no. Don't even look at it. So potentially you could go in there. Same thing, posted. Same signs.
Yeah.
You cannot go in these. So then how do you clear them? What do you do? And the good news is you can actually see the bottom right here.
They're shallow.
But it gets a little bit
I can see the
deeper out
rocks clear and the algae clear out about 20 feet.
there. Yeah. Yeah, you can see all of it right there as well.
Okay, I'm going to turn on this next road. Or do you think I should go turn around up there?
Yeah, no, you're going to make it right. I don't know, Nick. Coming back to the Russian Mafia.
I know. It's really peculiar that multiple locals in the area have came back to they will go to their grave believing that this is a Russian Mafia
And if you notice,
scenario.
all of them that have said that are the old timers.
Yeah.
It's not these younger kids that have heard the
Correct.
stories through the years.
So there must have been something going on, it could still be going on, but at least 20 years ago or beyond that, there was a lot of Russian Mafia activity in the area, it sounds like, according to some locals.
Well, and Mafia just in general was years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
Like the Mafia is no longer a thing. It's really been disbanded. Yes, you still have the cartels and other things going on, but you don't have the New York, city Mafia anymore, or whatever, whatever they were called. Chicago, Vegas was built, with Mafia money is how it got started. But my understanding, according, to the FBI, we worked with them a couple times, but they're like, don't even worry about the Mafia anymore.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, so it's a real strange scenario. I feel horrible. There's a deer, watch out, don't run out. I feel horrible for the family and the kids of Audrey. After 20 years, you'd think some sort of sign would show up or some sort of evidence, new piece of information. It sounds like they really don't have any more evidence than the day she disappeared.
Yeah, look how shallow it is on this
Definitely too
side.
shallow even right here, yeah.
So that takes an accident off this guardrail out. But I mean, this really brings her far to the north.
Right.
Alcove is in play.
Right. And this is one of those areas that a few different locals spoke of, so we had to put eyes on it to see why. And again, I believe that, for one, I think it's too shallow, but if she would end up here, this would have been somebody else deliberately did it, not an accident scenario.
Right. Well, or hey, I know it's deep, I'm depressed, and yes, we understand she has kids, but there's been other mothers, other fathers that have left because of their, their own depression and what they're dealing with.
Right.
Not saying that's the scenario, that's not the case in this, but it's never off the table.
Right.
All right, what's going to be a good route back down to the south to go check our last?
This might circle around, I don't know.
Yeah, let me find our best one.
And then we need to find that bridge that we were looking at the other day.
Yeah.
I thought that was on 67, but I may have to pull up that email. Is that mine or yours?
Oh, that's yours.
Hello, this is Nick.
Yo.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? I was just calling to see if you guys are still in town, if you guys, what areas you searched, if you're willing to tell me.
Sure, yes, we are still in the area. We're north of Freehold right now, working our way back that way. We've searched every possible local area along her route, and even then some side roads in there, and most of them aren't even deep enough that you could get a car in, or they're too far off the road.
Yeah.
At this point, we're heading back towards Freehold, and there's one more spot. It's off of a bridge on the Catskill Creek that we're going to put eyes on, that some viewers keep saying that if you zoom in on Google Maps, that they potentially see a vehicle underwater, but I don't think where they're talking about you could even get a vehicle in, but we're gonna go put eyes on it anyway. But so far we haven't found any evidence of any vehicles in any waterways that we have checked in the area.
Okay.
So we're yeah, go ahead.
Would it be possible when you're all done just to get like a list of everything you guys have done?
Sure.
I know a lot of people are asking.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Okay,
Do you need anything from us at all, or any other?
No, I think we're good. We've probably, like I said, we've searched everything for the last 2 days. We've got that one more spot to check. Unless we find something off the beaten path that we haven't seen on a map yet, we'll probably be done here in the next couple hours and moving on to our next location.
Okay.
So, appreciate everything and all the information. So we'll keep you posted what we find and where we've searched.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
So we'll hit the bridge and then Rockefeller Lake.
Your destination will be on the right.
This is the bridge that with the potential vehicle in the water?
Yeah. But because we're further up the creek than before, it should be even shallower and even drier, in my opinion. And it's not going to be up creek, it would be down creek if anything was in here. Right here on the right. Real clear, real shallow.
These people that sent us this info must not be from the area.
Yeah, they just look at the Google Earth and they see things. So yeah, just slow up and then park on the bridge. Yeah, I mean, you can see. So this is what I was referencing. So that right there, there's a rock sticking out of the water with a square looking car object right next to it. And that's all it is just a rock. On this 145 that we're on right now, wrapping up our time in the area, we're going off of the assumption that for some reason she ended up back on 23, bypassed 32, came up 145, and then looped back around to 67 to take that home, crossing over 32 again. But the witness from this morning, when he was, working for law enforcement, his statement is that she made a right on Caniff, which then takes this theory out of it. Right. But again, she's not been found.
Right.
So this one is still in play. Everything within this 5-mile radius is still in play.
Right.
Should be an opening.
There's a house and a guardrail. I see it now. However, there's too much vegetation to get to it.
Yeah, you're not getting through there.
No.
Yeah, it looked a lot closer on the map. All right, next, one more location. Make it right there on Roosevelt. Head over to this.
On there?
On there. All right.
This one's too shallow too.
There it is. Our very last location. Inches deep.
Hello.
Hey, Santia, it's Nick.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm just working, but I have a minute.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to call and give you an update. We've completed our search for your mother, and I just wanted to tell you all the areas that we've covered and that sort of thing. So basically, we come into these things open-minded, and even though a lot of areas we've already heard have been searched, we want to double check them and make sure that we put our own eyes on them, make sure they've been cleared. So with that being said, we have confirmed in the last couple days what the local dive teams and the law enforcement agencies have already said, and that is that without a doubt, at least in the areas within where your mother worked and home. All the possible waterways have been cleared. We have put boats in areas where we couldn't confirm by visual that they were either too shallow to put a car in or that they just don't have a car in them. Most of them, to be honest with you, were just too shallow. There's no way you could hide a vehicle in them. So we worked the routes from Catskill up to Freehold, along the 32, 23, along 67, both east and west on that. We've even taken every side route in between those, every possible route that you can think of between where she worked and home. And we even went above and beyond that, and we've had a few viewers reach out to us with various emails leading us into directions of just like the text you got to me about Leeds, the area in Leeds, Green Lake, and Alcove Reservoir, Basic Reservoir. And unfortunately, some of those, they won't allow boats to get in, and so we can't 100% say that you know, the vehicle isn't in there. However, by judging with what we've seen with the drone, they look too shallow. You can see the bottom, you know, out to about 20 to 30 feet out from the shore, and it looks pretty shallow. I don't think you'd be able to put a vehicle in there without somebody seeing it. So, you know, with that being said, we unfortunately did not find your mother in the last couple days, and so as far as an accident scenario on her drive home, that is something that we can't 100% confirm that has happened. So, you know, hopefully we touch base with Mike, the detective that's working on this case, and we're gonna follow up with him and reaffirm the waterways that we have cleared, and so that they can put this back into their investigation and put the date on it to say that, you know, of course, as of right now, these areas have been cleared multiple times and there's nothing in them.
Yeah, thank you. Really, I mean, just that itself, the waterways being cleared is huge, because now we know for sure that that's not a possibility.
Yeah, so sorry we couldn't give you, you know, more answers, but at least we've cleared those areas, and hopefully this helps with the investigation moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any, you said give a complete list to the investigator of everything that was searched, right?
Yes, you were breaking up there a little bit, but I think you said we're going to give the information to Mike, the investigator, on the areas we've searched?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, then I can just get that from him. I'm pretty in touch with him, so.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you so much for coming out and doing this. It really means a lot.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, and we appreciate it, and we hope you have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye. So that concludes our second day in our search for Audrey Herron. We did not find her in the last couple days. However, we did eliminate lots of possible areas and waterways. We covered a lot of ground. And so as of right now, the mystery still remains, where is Audrey? So if you or anybody you know has any information, any sightings that you think could possibly lead to the finding of Audrey to bring her home to her family, please contact your local authorities. And as always, thanks for your support. Thank you for watching our videos, and we'll see you next time.
Audrey Mae Herron, last seen leaving her job at a nursing home on August 29, 2002.
The last time that we were here, we did an extensive search. We have new information.
Weeks after Audrey's disappearance, the case was labeled a homicide, and Audrey's husband, Jeff, labeled a suspect.
Why is she not found after 21 years?
There's nothing. There's no leads. There's nothing.
From the Albany Water District has given us approval to enter the reservoir where we have 13 and 15 foot depths.
Because we're going to be able to spot a vehicle, no problem if a vehicle's in here.